What's up everyone, King Crab's back again today, playing some mono ground. So, the first thing you might notice immediately from looking at this team, from the team preview, or from maybe the name of the video, this is going to be a sandless ground, so I'm not going to be running anything like Hippowdon, Sandaconda, or any sand setters. So ground is a personal favourite type of mine, and I wanted to try experiment with something kind of different for mono ground, which is unusual. You very often see sand, and understandably so. It's a very, very strong tool on a ground team, and I've said in previous videos that it's often the glue that holds ground together, but I wanted to see how well I can do without that. So with that, let's jump right into the team. So the first member of the team, we have Donphan. I'm really happy to use Donphan. I'm a big fan of this Pokemon. It's just really cool Pokemon, and I'm glad it finally has a niche this generation, thanks to the addition of heavy-duty boots. So why this is because it allows it to swap in on things like Spikes, Sturdy, Toxic Spikes, Spikes, Stealth Rock, Toxic Spikes, and allows it Sturdy to still activate. So normally Sturdy would be chipped out of range thanks to entry hazards. With heavy-duty boots, we can guarantee live and attack. And why that's important is we can often click Endeavor against an opponent, especially one that is trying to sweep my team. Maybe Rain Kingdra with Hydro Pump is absolutely destroying my team. We can drop to 1 HP thanks to Sturdy, click Endeavor, which will lower my target's HP to my HP, it being 1 in the case that would be a O code, and then I can click Ice Shard to pick off a KO. So this is a really good revenge killing tool. As well, Ice Shard is just generally good for flying types, dragon, grass types, things that don't mind eating earthquakes and stuff, so Ice Shard has that bonus as well as just being a good priority because the team is pretty slow. We have Rapid Spin for hazard removal. Again, pairs nicely with heavy duty boots and sturdy. It can remove things like Toxic Spikes or even Sticky Web, which can hurt my team, especially like things like Excadrill and Gastrodon don't particularly like Sticky Webs and Toxic Spikes respectively. And finally we have Earthquake just for some strong stab because ground is generally a good move to have. Stat spread wise, we're max HP, max attack adamant to maximize the damage we can do from things like Ice Shard and Earthquake, and the max HP is just nice for kind of just living a lot of attacks, especially physical attacks. So if I, for example, don't need a special wall or I don't need a revenge killer in Donphan, its high HP makes it naturally quite bulky on the physically defensive side. And the 8 HP is nice to potentially outspeed non-invested Azumarill, which can give my team a lot of trouble. So if it's not invested, we can Endeavor into Ice Shard and outspeed their Aqua Jet. Next up we have Gliscor. Gliscor is a Pokemon I was really looking forward to using in the NatDex, and I'm really glad it's back, and it's just a really, really strong Pokemon. If anyone's ever fought it, they might know what to expect. It's a Poison Heal Toxic Orb Gliscor. So what this lets me do is, when I'm poisoned, I recover 1/8 HP every turn. That's effectively 2 leftovers. What makes it even better than that is I cannot be statused over it. For example, I can't be burned or paralyzed or slept if I'm already toxic, so Gliscor can be a really good tank. Moveset wise, we have Protect to scout for my opponent's intentions. As well, I can Protect turn 1 to guarantee get my Toxic Orb off because it only activates at the end of the turn. So my opponent could still Will-O-Wisp me or Glare me, for example, or Spore me. So it's important to Protect first to get the Toxic Orb off. We have Swords Dance off to make this thing even stronger and potentially extremely deadly for my opponent. With Facade as well, Toxic Orb will boost it to 140 base power, which is really, really strong. We have Knockoff, which is good team support. Not as good in the NatDex because we do have to face things like Z Crystals and Mega Stones, which will not be affected by Knockoff. So definitely not as strong, but still a nice tool to have. It's always welcome on any team. Stat spread wise, we are max attack with max HP and max attack adamant. This just to boost its Swords Dance power even further. If you wanted some speed control in the team, feel free to make this a max speed Gliscor in favour of attack or HP. I just personally like HP because the thing is deceptively bulky, especially with Toxic Heal. You're getting a lot more HP every turn with the Poison Heal. Next up we have Excadrill, and Excadrill is going to be my main form of speed control in the team, as well as being an option to take care of levitators like Rotom Wash, Weezing for example, things that give my team a bit of trouble. Excadrill is quite nice thanks to Mold Breaker. With max speed, max attack, and a jolly nature, it reaches a respectable 456 speed. It's not the best. It's going to outspeed most non-boosted Pokemon. However, it will not outspeed a lot of Choice Scarfers, which can be troublesome, so the team has to work around that somehow. Moveset wise, we have Earthquake. Again, just very spammable stab, especially if they don't have a flying type. Earthquake will ignore Levitate thanks to Mold Breaker. Iron Head, which is fantastic for flinching my opponent, as well as this generally quite strong stab. We do have Stealth Rock, and there's a lot of Pokemon I could put Stealth Rock on. I decided to put it on Excadrill because It's not the most important tool on my team, I feel. It's just kind of a supplementary team support in case I do want to chip away things like maybe Volcarona or Charizard, which honestly can give my team trouble. And next up we have Rock Slide, again for those aforementioned Charizard and Volcarona. Can give my team a lot of trouble, especially if it's Mega Charizard Y. It can use Solar Beam and Sunny Day to really destroy my team, so having that speed and Rock Slide can be quite good. Next up we have Gastrodon, and Gastrodon is my personal favourite of the water absorbing Pokemon on the ground type. We have Quagsire, Seismitoad and Gastrodon. The reason I like Gastrodon is because it's very bulky. On the HP side, it has base 111, which is a lot, and it has respectable 82 special defense. So this thing is quite bulky, so much to the extent that it can actually eat a fair few grass knots or hidden power grasses. Now, hidden power is back in the NatDex, which hurts ground because you'll see a lot more hidden power grass and a lot more hidden power ice, which is not the nicest. Item-wise, we have leftovers for longevity and Storm Drain to absorb water attacks, which is super, super important. We have Toxic to try and chip away opponents with their HP, especially if they're kind of tanky, like maybe Porygon 2, something I will not naturally be able to take down with great ease because they can constantly recover in my face. Having Toxic is a good tool. Scald is great, it's just a strong enough stab and can spread burn at 30%, which is very much valued. Mirror Coat is really good for trying to revenge KO, especially attacking opponents. They can't use water attacks on me thanks to Storm Drain, so maybe for example Pelipper or Kingdra want to spam Ice Beam or Hurricane. Generally speaking, Gastrodon will live even Specs attacks and can Mirror Coat back. It's also really nice against dragons who want to spam Draco Meteor and Mirror Coat. They can generally live one and we can revenge KO back thanks to its massive HP stat. Mirror Coat is pretty much going to OHKO anything in the tier that does damage to Gastrodon. And finally we have Recover for longevity, which is super important for Gastrodon because it's going to have to constantly swap in on special attackers or water attackers, so it's really nice to have that level of recovery. Next up we have Steelix. Steelix is kind of an odd choice and it's one I'm on the fence about. Some people start to try Mega Steelix. Personally, I'm not a fan of Mega Steelix. I think it needs its leftover longevity, and Sturdy can be quite nice too. I think Mega Steelix, if I'm not mistaken, has Steelix Mega. It has Sandforce, which I'm personally not a fan of. I don't think Steelix can really run it too well, and I just think it's not the defensive behemoth it should be as regular Steelix. So we have Iron Defense to boost our already very, very, very impressive defense stats, which pairs nicely with Body Press. This allows me to easily sweep through a lot of teams like Normal, Dark, Steel. They do not like an Iron Defense in Steelix. Body Pressing Steelix, it can do a lot of damage. We have Smackdown, which is actually quite good team support. It does ground flying Pokemon, or levitators, or air balloons, for example. So Smackdown can allow me to go into Earthquake afterwards. Despite the fact I'm not invested much in attack, Earthquake is still going to hit things like Zapdos pretty strong, or Celesteela, Skarmory, Corviknight, all things that my team doesn't particularly like. So smacking those down does really help my team. Last but not least, we have Landorus, and for some reason Landorus and Carnage is allowed in the NatDex. I'm not quite sure why. This thing is an absolute monster, and we'll see hopefully in this live today that this thing is going to put in a lot of work. We have Sheer Force Life Orb, which will boost my tower of Psychic and Earth power humongously. So this thing doesn't have the most impressive special attack stat, but Life Orb Sheer Force is going to make this thing really, really strong. We also have Calm Mind, and Calm Mind is really good to boost my special attack even further to make this thing just ridiculously powerful wall breaker, as well as giving me a bit of longevity in the special defense, because defensively this thing is okay, not great. It can live one or two non-super effective hits, but overall it's not the strongest defensively. Psychic is really good for things like Venusaur specifically, which gives my team a lot of trouble. Poison types in general, which might seem strange because I'm on a ground, but again, Weezing can be quite scary, as I said, Venusaur, grass types in general, so I quite like to try Psychic. You can also run things like Hidden Power, some people run Focus Blast, Hidden Power Ice, good for opposing ground teams, Sludge Bomb if you want to get rid of grass types. There's a lot of things this thing can run. Personally, I like Psychic, so that's why I'm going for Psychic. Gravity is really good for giving my team great team support. This especially pairs well with Choice Scarf Excadrill. So any team that's weak to ground that may rely on levitators, air balloons, flying types will not be able to do so under gravity, and Excadrill can potentially just go for a nice sweep in the late game. It also, of course, pairs very nice with Earth Power, so no matter what they are, I can Gravity into Earth Power, which is going to put a lot of hurt on my opponent. So that is going to be the team for today. Before we jump into some games, I want to ask you to comment down below your favorite ground type Pokemon. For me personally, it's Camerupt. I mean, Camerupt's my favorite Pokemon of all time, so I think it's fair to say it's my favorite ground type. Unfortunately, I didn't use it on today's team, but we'll see how it goes regardless. And with that, let's pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Water, which is a pretty rough start, all things considered. We're not a sand team either, which makes it a lot harder for me to take them down. Strangely enough, Empoleon's quite a threat to my team. Usually Gastrodon's balanced due to a lot of water types, and unfortunately can't really threaten Empoleon. Though I do have Lando, and a lot of ground attacks like Excadrill, but Pelipper's a threat as well. I'm trying to think what I open up with. I'm going to try open Gliscor, which it could be bad. We at least get to protect turn 1 and scout their intentions. Maybe they're U-turn. Indeed, they are U-turn, which, assuming they are choice locked, they often are, should get us a free knockoff on something coming in, which is pretty nice for us. Crit there won't matter, we'll recover all the HP back thanks to Poison Heal. Okay. Some damage on Pelipper's pretty good, and getting rid of its specs is honestly really good. I don't know if this kills. I'm gonna go ahead and assume it does. Pelipper with choice specs. I'm almost certain Weather Ball kills. Yeah, absolutely. Even without choice specs at -1. Yeah, for sure. Scald also kills. So we're gonna protect. Try and kill one turn of rain. They're going for Hurricane. The knockoff did 41. Will Facade kill? No, it's not strong enough. Let's go Gastrodon here. The Storm Drain is pretty good. I was going to go for a Toxic, but just in case they want to go into something like Empoleon, I feel like Scald is pretty nice. And it puts this in range. That did so much damage. That did more than just put it in range. We will recover here. As they go into Pex. Realistically, I don't fear Pex too much. I'm going to go into Lando. Now the question is, do I go straight for an Earth Power? I think I do. Nothing on their team swaps into Earth Power. If they went into Pelipper, I could always Psychic afterwards. That's not too big of a deal. And I think I value Lando alive quite a lot here, especially for breaking things like Empoleon. Now Greninja is a threat to my team. Urshifu's a threat too. I feel like it's not going to be Choice Scarf Urshifu. I feel like Rain doesn't run that too often, but I could be wrong. Honestly, I don't see Urshifu too much in the NatDex, surprisingly. For being a very good Pokemon, it's not the most common one you see around. So I'm not really sure what people are running nowadays. It comes in. I'm going to Psychic. Even if they Aqua Jetted, it wouldn't have killed Lando. I don't think Lando is relatively bulky. And this puts me in a really good position here where they kind of have to take in Greninja, I feel. And if they do, they might go straight for an Ice Beam. I feel like I sack Gliscor either way. If they U-turn, Gliscor is in a relatively good position against Swampert and Empoleon, especially Pelipper. And if they stay on Ice Beam, I can always get something like Excadrill in, or even Steelix or Gastrodon. I definitely value Lando alive, I think, to take care of Empoleon and Pelipper. And the reason I think it does that better than other Pokemon is because I can Earth Power the Empoleon and Psychic the Pelipper. Excadrill is going to be locked into Earthquake. It's Choice Scarf. Donphan I value for Revenge Kill, especially on something like Greninja or Swampert. And then Steelix is just probably not going to be able to win a KO Empoleon. Actually, maybe with Body Press it could. Let me check, because that could be an alternative option. Of course, we also do run the risk of being... yeah, no, it doesn't. We also do run the risk of being burnt. Maybe I should add defense onto Steelix. I mean, I have a specially defensive Gastrodon. I'm on the fence. I like this special defense to live like ice and grass attacks is quite nice, but like, hypothetically, if I was max defense, Body Press still would not have KO'd. Okay, never mind. It doesn't make a huge difference overall. And Iron Defense makes me very strong. So either way, I think Gliscor is always my play. I think Gliscor has done enough in the game by getting rid of Pelipper's choice specs. And the fact that I have speed is very good as well. Honestly, it makes Donphan pretty powerful here. Now the question is, will my opponent actually play out, or do I win by a timeout? Not the most exciting way to win, but I mean, we take those anyway, especially against water, which is quite a tough matchup. Okay, we will take that. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. GLHF, we have a game against an opposing mono ground, and they're running Camerupt, so honestly, major respect for that Camerupt. My absolute favorite Pokemon, for those who don't know. I probably should have used it before, maybe Fire or Ground, but I will release a video using Camerupt at some stage in my life. That is a mission of mine. So in this game, we definitely value Lando. Gastrodon is very good too. They don't have any water absorbers, which is very good for me. I think I'm going to open Gliscor. As they open up Lando. Okay, that's a threat and a half. I'm pretty sure I live regardless. Oh, it's Hidden Power Ice. I don't live that at all. Far from it. I think I go Gastrodon here. It's specially defensive, so it should live quite nicely. Potentially spreading a burn on something like Swampert would be very good for my team. I was not expecting Hidden Power Ice, but I mean, it's a very good play. Thankfully, Focus Blast doesn't do too much. And they can't drop my Spadef. I'm going to risk recovering here. It's a risk. They can't drop special defense, but they can crit me. But they could also miss, which would be absolutely excellent for me. Yes, perfect. I could have easily have used Mirror Coat earlier too. I definitely still value Gastrodon. This is probably like weakness policy. Let's go Lando. We survive the Earthquake if that's what you want to throw out. And here we kind of get a free Earth Power. If they are weakness policy, it's quite bad for me. There's Sash. And there's Sash Ice Punch. That's super cool. You don't see that too often. I feel like I value Steelix so much in the end game. I'm going to go into Excadrill here and just click Earthquake. Nothing besides maybe Hippo particularly like swapping into that. And on Hippo, I think I can get in Steelix on the potential... Actually, they're going to Earthquake on Hippo, right? I want Donphan to be at max HP. We're going to try go Steelix here. Doesn't take too much. They do outspeed me. I've got a bad feeling this is especially offensive. Swampert. I'm going to body press them anyway. Yeah, I knew it was. Now the question is, does a Scald KO? The answer is yes, it definitely does. So we're going to go into Gastrodon here. Hopefully they don't Toxic. Excellent. That's a pretty nice turn for me. As what's Scald here. It's especially defensive. Good to know. As I said, they could easily Toxic me here, which isn't great for me. Though as long as I keep Donphan healthy, I think I'm good. Wow, that did a lot of damage. Now, Gastrodon does outspeed. Does it outspeed this? 212, it does not. GG. It's not GG quite yet. Camerupt is pretty bad for me. I feel like Scald might win a KO Camerupt. Let's go into Donphan here. If I can get them to chip me away, I can potentially Endeavor into Ice Shard, which is pretty good for me. Oh, they're Rocky Helmet. Now they're probably Slack Off. Perfect. This puts me in a good range to click Endeavor here. If they Slack Off this turn, very good play. Great play. Great play on my opponent's part. Do I lose to this? That does so much. That does much more than I expected. I have to Iron Defense one more time, I think. And I have to hope Body Press KOs here. No. Was that a roll? I feel like that was a bad roll on my end. Oh well. We have to go for Iron Head Flinch. Not the most reliable. Definitely not the most reliable. 1. 2. No. They can simply slack off. I mean, their play is probably to Earthquake here. Great play. Great play going into Camerupt. GG. Very well played on my opponent's part. They definitely played this game extremely well. Unfortunate the Steelix died to the Earthquake. I could have sworn I would have lived. Amazing to have gotten this far. I threw a bunch. Yo. Win easy. I'm pretty sure they win this. I mean, they can just keep Earth Power in me. Eventually, they're bound to crit. Yeah, Hippo outspeeds, right? I mean, all I can do is spam recovery here. I am gaining a small bit of HP. But all they need to do is some straight crits. Actually, maybe I do win. Maybe the swap into Camerupt was a throw. Huh. I guess it all comes down to whether or not Hippo does enough. And maybe it doesn't. It does outspeed me. It doesn't do 59%, I'm almost certain. Ah, GG. Close one then. The burn actually came in. Well played. So I really thought I lost that game. I mean, it just goes to show not to give up. I think swapping into Camerupt, I could understand the play. They didn't want to get flinched, I'm assuming, but unfortunately it was a throw. Rockin' team, Broganite. Unfortunately, it was a throw because it did let my Gastrodon recover instantly in their face. So it just goes to show not to say GG too early. That is something I'm definitely guilty of. But really good team, Rainer, and GG, and I'll catch you next time. So we have a game here against Mono Electric. In theory, this should go pretty nicely for me, but things like Zapdos, Rotom Wash, and to an extent Vikavolt can actually be quite a big threat to my team. I really value Gravity here, and I think I'm going to open up Gliscor and try and scout to see what my opponent does. Now, I'm pretty sure Gliscor, I mean, Vikavolt doesn't run anything that can override my Toxic Orb, so I'm going to Swords Dance here on the Sticky Web. Then we're just going to go for a Facade. They might run Energy Ball, but thanks to my Toxic Heal, I should be able to heal off most of what they do. I mean, maybe they're Hidden Power Ice. That would be pretty cool. Oh, Zapdos comes in. That's interesting. That is definitely offensive Zapdos, so what we're going to do is just Protect and Scout for like a Specs Hurricane, which is exactly what comes out. I'm pretty certain Specs Hurricane kills me. I think I fell to this before when I was testing. Offensive Rain Sweeper. +1 Hurricane. Ooh, that is a roll just about not in my favor. So we're going to Gastrodon here. I believe Gastrodon lives too. Nicely. Assuming, of course, I don't get hit in Confusion. This is a pretty decent position for me. Especially if they want to give me Zapdos. Oh, it's not Specs. That's, well, silly me. We'll try to recover once. Is there a Defog, Hurricane, maybe Volt Switch, Roost? Perhaps Toxic thrown in there too? Speaking of Toxic, we'll throw one out here. In case they decide to swap out. They're getting pretty bad luck with the Hurricanes, which is pretty bad for them. What's called? Man, that's really bad luck with the Hurricanes. I haven't had the best Confusion luck, but definitely better than what they're getting. You know, I'm oddly scared of Pikachu. I don't know why I'm so scared of Pikachu, but I am. Please Scald Burn. Oh, I recovered this turn, my bad. Either way, I'm pretty sure there's not much Zero Aura can do to me. And exactly, running that risk of burn. Oh, they're Lumberry. Very interesting set. Very cool set. Taunt Lumberry knockoff. That's pretty neat. I like that. Now, unfortunately, that does put me in range of Zapdos. But once Zapdos is gone, I'm pretty sure Excadrill pretty much has a free pass to just click Earthquake over and over again. Which is pretty nice for me. They're presumably going to Hurricane here. How much does Hurricane do to Gliscor if it's not spec? 62 to 73. That is so strong. Steelix should be able to honestly live it nicely. It only has a bit less Spadef than my Gastrodon. And it has not very effective damage, which is quite good. Now the question is it Heatwave? Let us find out by going back into Gastrodon. Yes, it is. Okay, that's a pretty good position not to sack my Steelix. Even if Gastrodon faints here, I can get in Donphan, but I think Lando is probably the better play. I just click, nope. I clicked the wrong pink button. Not the end of the world for me. I need to look at my pink buttons before I randomly click. I meant to click Psychic. Interesting play. This actually might work in my favor. Having a +1 Lando here, that's really scary for my opponent. And I still have Ice Shard for the likes of Zapdos later on. I don't think Wash can eat a Psychic. Just about can. And Pump does a lot. Now this does open me up for something like Extreme Speed Pikachu. Which I'm almost certain is going to come out here. I feel like Lando's done its job. Because here, unless this is Hidden Power Ice, Gliscor is quite strong. Nothing particularly likes taking a knockoff. That did so much damage. And especially now that I've knocked off Light Ball, Pikachu's going to be a lot weaker. Yeah, it's going to do less damage to me than I recover off with Poison, Heal, and Protect. Of course, Circuitry could be like Hidden Power Ice. Which is not the best situation for me. We know now it's not Spec Zapdos, so I don't faint to it. Most importantly... Ooh, it's Z-Hypnosis. I mean, it wouldn't have worked anyway, I'm Toxic. Perfect, that's just fine by me. GG. So with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Bug. Right off the bat, you're literally my counter. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a counter. In fact, Bug resists ground. Either way, Volcarona is a big threat, so I think I want to keep something like Donphan healthy for that. Excadrill is pretty good here, especially with Stealth Rock. I feel like Steelix is quite good too against things like Pinsir, Scolipede, and Heracross. They're more than likely going to open up Galvantula, so what I'm going to do is try to open up with my Gliscor. Okay, they open Scolipede. That's Swords Dance turn 1. This is a risky play, because if they Swords Dance, it puts me in a pretty bad position. Will Facade. I'm pretty sure I live anything it throws at me. Yeah, X just won't do too much. And it's Life Orb. Good to know. Give me back a healthy chunk of HP. Is this Hidden Power Ice? I mean, I doubt it is. I should stop doubting things are Hidden Power Ice. Okay. What is my answer to this? I guess Excadrill? I kind of want to get Stealth Rocks down, but it's a risk. I don't know if it's a risk I'm willing to take either. They still have a Spinner and Armaldo. We'll Earthquake here. I think I just value Galvantula being gone. Ah, damn, the crit energy ball hurt. Heracross comes in. I feel like it's not Mega Heracross on a team that has Pinsir. So we're going to go into Lando, which should live a close combat relatively nicely. And click Psychic here. Armaldo comes in. Interesting, because this dies pretty badly. And that gets rid of their spinner, which is honestly pretty good for me. Heracross comes back in. Close combat probably kills. Not the ideal situation. However, my Excadrill does outspeed. Does Gastrodon live? A +1 Scarf Heracross. Ooh. Barely. And that's a pretty... That's a nasty roll. What I don't want to take. See, I don't want to give Donphan away when Volcarona is such a big threat. Can Excadrill kill this? Yeah, Iron Head kills. This is... if I go for Iron Head, it invites in Volcarona. I don't think I have a choice. I think I have to go for Iron Head here. Now, obviously this screams taking Volcarona. On Volcarona, I kind of have to hope it's not Giga Drain. They often are Giga Drain. Not always, but often. Pinsir comes in. Am I willing to sack Excadrill? I feel like I am. Are they going to Earthquake to get the Moxie boost? That is a good play. That's probably the best play they could have done. This is a pretty tough endgame. I think Donphan kills both Volcarona and Galvantula. I feel like I've taken Steelix and click Smackdown. If they choose to not Mega Evolve, I'm pretty sure I survive. And if they Mega Evolve, this kills. Yeah, nice. Now I feel like Gastrodon's pretty good in the endgame. We have to Smackdown here, obviously. The question is this Giga Drain? It very much might be. We're going to Toxic. It's Giga Drain. It's pretty bad for me. Hopefully they hit me. We click Endeavor and please do not burn. Flame Body don't activate. Nice. GG. Very close game. Yeah, very well played. That was insanely close. It came down to me not getting burnt by Flame Body there. Thankfully, RNG worked in my favour this time. And with that, we're going to pause and be right. So we have another game against Mono Ground. Seems like a pretty popular type on the ladder right now. They are running Sand. They have Garchomp and most likely Sandrush Excadrill, which is pretty scary for me. I'm expecting maybe Costap Golem as well. I think as usual, I'm going to try opening Gliscor. Just try and knock things early. Now, I've been bit too many times by not protecting. I feel like they're going to Stealth Rock here. They're probably going to go for like Ice Punch or something. Does Golem even learn Ice Punch? Learn set Golem Ice. Is that the term? Ice Punch? I might have typed it in wrong. Yeah, it's Costap. I had a very distinct feeling that was Costap. So we're going to do a Swords Dance here. Lando comes in. I mean, if I can knock something else off, that's really good for me too. Stone Edge shouldn't do too much. Is it Choice Scarf? Choice Scarf indeed. That's really good for me. Because I can protect here and get some health back. They're U-turning. I mean, I will happily knock off again. If you want to give me every item your team has, be my guest. I'm more than happy to take this trade. Chomp comes out. This is probably Dragon Z. Yes. That is surely Z Dragon. Does that kill? Does Devastating Drake kill? I mean, probably. It is a Garchomp. Scale Shot. Probably going to be Outrage, Devastating Drake. I wrote Outrage. 72 to 85. I'll protect and try eat it. Ah ha ha ha. That's exactly what I did not want to happen. That's very bad for me. Now the question is, what do I sack? I think Excadrill. I feel like Excadrill is the most expendable member here. And there's Scale Shot too. This just goes from bad to worse for me. Now what I can do is actually get in Donphan later on. Yes, perfect. The fact they Scale Shot it again is really good. Or are they actually Mega? Maybe they were Mega Garchomp all along. Either way, I'm pretty sure Ice Shot KOs here at -2. 4 by effective. I feel like this should be a pretty clean KO. It was Mega. I don't know why I just instantly assumed it was Devastating Drake. A Facade earlier on probably would have saved my Excadrill. Gastrodon comes in. Let's go into my Gliscor. I think we survive a Scald. Not too well, but we do survive. I'll protect once. I do kind of value Gliscor. But I think I also value knocking this off. Oh, yeah, that was a crit 4 by effective at -2. It's gonna hurt. If only it was Banded Mamo. I love Banded Mamo. What a fun Pokemon. I'm gonna risk knocking this. They might not Scald in thought I might go into my own Gastrodon. They did Scald anyway. We can get in Lando here. And Lando does outspeed their entire team. Now, I am kind of scared of Hippo Exca combo. Pretty rough for me. Do I just straight Earth Power? I feel like I Calm Mind first. How much does this do? I'm not that bulky. What's this called? Gastrodon. Why did I forget his name already? Monotype, physically defensive, we'll call it. Scald, 60 to 72. Ouch. And a +1. 41 to 48. I mean, if they burn, it's pretty bad. I'll go straight for an Earth Power. Yeah, especially defensive, as I expected. So we're going to Calm Mind once. Don't burn. Nice. Nice. This puts me in a good position where it kind of forces out their Hippo. I know I outspeed you. I knocked off your Choice Scarf. Don't mind if I do. Hippo comes out just as I wanted. With Earth Power here. That kills? Oh my god, that's strong. I did not expect that to do so much damage. And this kind of forces them to Iron Head me. On the off chance their Swords Dance, which would be very bad for me. No, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go to Gastrodon here. Maybe a bad risk. But if I can wear out the sand, Lando should outspeed. They are Swords Dance, Rapid Spin. So that was crazy risky what I just did. We get the burn anyway. Which is really good for me. Oh, they're... Corkscrew Crash? Yeah, it's going to do too much. 207, 194. I mean, I keep forgetting how slow Gastrodon is, but I guess it is a giant sea slug, so I can't blame it. It looks slow. What's called here? GG. Well played on my opponent's part, and with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game against Mono Water. Immediately, this looks really, really threatening. It's a rain team with probably Tailglow Manaphy, and Barraskewda in general it's so fast. It's a fast, funny fish that destroys my team. It's going to be pretty rough. I think I'm going to open Gliscor here. As they open up Tapu Fini, interesting. Not what I thought they'd open up with. I don't even feel like I can Swords Dance very well. I'm going to try. Ooh, as they trick me. Ah, that's nasty. That's really nasty. This immediately puts me in a pretty bad position. I'm going to try and Psychic here. It doesn't KO, unfortunately. And they get to keep their rain up. This thing just destroys my team, right? We'll go Gliscor on the off chance they close combat. They flip her, which makes a lot more sense. I didn't want to risk my Gastrodon there. It's way too important of an asset in this matchup. I have to play it extremely carefully, but it's going to be a tough one for me. Urshi comes in. Is it Choice Scarf Urshi? I'm certain it is. Actually, maybe not. Let's try go Gastrodon here and see if they Aqua Jet. It's a really rough matchup for me. The turn 1 Infinity was excellent, and for some reason I refused to protect turn 1 with Tapu with my Gliscor. Despite the fact it's almost a free scout on basically everything, it also would have wasted her Misty Terrain, so there really was no reason I shouldn't have protected there. They Surging. Are they choice locked? Let's try Scald. They're not choice locked, good to know. Which means potentially Lando outspeeds. Naturally, Feeny comes in here. Possibly trying to trick its Toxic Orb over to me. Let's see if I can... I mean, nothing really wants a Toxic Orb. I guess Excadrill doesn't hate it. And they're back Choice Scarfed. We're going to try get rocks here. Any bit of chip I can get on things like Pelipper are pretty good for me. Especially now if I Rock Slide this in KO. Okay. Removing rain on their side of the field is... It's welcomed, for sure. Especially because I have things like Donphan for the likes of Barraskewda. Do I sack XK here? It doesn't outspeed anything notably. After rain ends even. Now the question is, do I sack Steelix or Donphan? I'm gonna go to Donphan here. This will waste rain turns. And it will KO Swampert, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, it means Barraskewda is a threat, but I feel like Barraskewda is less of a threat to Gastrodon than Swampert. This forces them to KO me, otherwise they know I can Endeavor. This is a very rough matchup. Lando's pretty good here in the endgame. Manaphy comes in. I'm pretty sure Manaphy survives Earth Power, unfortunately. Unless they are Defog Feeny, Swampert does die when it comes in. I have to risk Astro here. And if they close combat, very well played. They Psychic Fangs. Excellent play on my opponent's part. My opponent is playing this very, very well. If I can potentially get them to trick a Choice Scarf onto my Lando, it mightn't be the worst case scenario for me. Scarf Earth Power is probably pretty good in the endgame. Nice. Does Barraskewda just win though? That's the question. We'll go Steelix first. They liquidate. Great play. I mean, ideally, I really want Choice Scarf Lando. Yes. That is exactly what I wanted. It does not kill. That is surprising. Oh, I lost my... what you call it? Life Orb, that's why. Manaphy surely lives, right? There's no way that Manaphy doesn't live this. We'll find out. Yeah, I think I had to go for like a crit there. Z Rain Dance. I still outspeed this. But I lose. Because Barrascuda now gets the rain boost, right? Unless by some crazy chance Steelix lives too. Which, I mean, it shouldn't. Close combat? Does Lando live close combat? Is this going to be like a crazy clutch game? It's banned with close combat, but it is not very effective. I feel like I might live. GG. Wow, that was a rough game. Tricking the Choice Scarf back onto the Lando easily is what won me that game. So I'm glad I managed to do that. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Psychic. It's a pretty cool looking team. We have some interesting picks like Meloetta, Deoxys, Articuno. I respect that a lot. I feel like Gliscor is really good here, so I'm going to open up with it. I say this every time. I should protect turn 1. And I'm not going to. And I know it's a bad idea, but I really did expect them to Stealth Rock there, or potentially Spike. We'll knock here. Honestly, knock does a lot in this game. I don't know if Deoxys can do anything to necessarily harm me. The spikes are kind of annoying, but we can rapid spin them away later with the likes of Excadrill, so it's not the end of the world for me. Is this like... Is this focus slash counter? Well, we won't find out right now. We're going to knock the Lele. It's leftovers. Interesting. I'll protect once to try and waste turns of their terrain, which is pretty nice for me. The question is there anything here I want to sack? I feel like Steelix doesn't have the most use in this game, but I know Gliscor also won't die to an unboosted Psychic. We'll protect here. Ooh. Megazan is scary. Megazan with Expanded Force is even scarier. Do I have anything to kill this? I'm pretty sure Donphan. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Donphan can kill this pretty nicely. I'm going to keep my Gliscor healthy. I'll sack Steelix. If this even KOs. Wow, that does so much damage. Obviously, Focus Blast will probably come out here. KOing me. I feel like I go into Exca. And Ironhead. And potentially Articuno coming in. The flinch. Excellent. That's just what you want to see. Pretty nice. If Articuno comes in, I feel like I'll just Ironhead anyway. Donphan can always Ice Shard, and I believe Gliscor is pretty good against Meloetta later in the game. Ancient Power. That's interesting play. I guess they're going for the boost, and if they did get the boost, they would have outsped me. Ooh. That's a cool play. Unfortunately, they do flinch. And I don't think there's anything Galarian Slowbro can do to finish off my team, short of like getting tons of quick draw like Ice Beams or something. Uh-oh. It's begun. I willed it into existence. No, I'm pretty sure Landorus kills with Earth Power anyway. If not, Donphan has Earthquake into Ice Shard. GG. Well played, very cool team. I like to see things like Articuno and Deoxys being used. Two very underrated Pokemon in my opinion. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So we have a game here against Mono Rock. In theory, this is a winnable matchup, but I'm not so sure. I've seen what Shuckleberry Almastar does, so I'm going to be very wary of something like that. They probably want to open up with something like Shuckle. In that case, I believe... Excadrill is probably the best play to start with. And just start Iron Heading. especially as they don't run something like Macargo or any other type of fire rock Pokemon to deal with Excadrill, which is pretty nice for me. Rocks are fine. My only sturdy Pokemon anyway is Donphan, actually, and Steelix. It's Balloon. Okay. I know I'm playing right into the weak armor. That's fine for me. So what we're going to do here is swap into Gastrodon. It can eat Ice Shard pretty easily. It should eat Scald pretty easily. It's a huge risk right now if I click Mirror Coat. It's a big risk. I'm going to do it. Oh, it's Hidden Power Grass. I'm very glad I clicked that. Had I clicked Toxic, it could have taken potentially my Donphan as well, which would be very bad for me. Terrakion is pretty scary. Naturally here I take an Excadrill. And I really threaten their team with either Earthquake or Iron Head. I'm not sure. Earthquake is slightly stronger, but it's not going to kill the likes of Rhyperior, I believe, especially with Solid Rock. So I'd rather potentially go for the flinch chance, as they end up actually forfeiting. So that was a nice quick win for me. And with that, we're going to pause and be right back. So that was going to be it from Mono Ground for today. Overall, a really fun type to use. I did think it would do so well. I kind of only wanted to make a sandless ground to see if it could work, because most ground archetypes do run sand. That's completely reasonable. It's a fantastic way to play ground. I just wanted to see if there was a coherent team you can make without sand, and I think I did pretty well. Really happy to show off something like Donphan, one of my favorite Pokemon, and I'm glad it finally has a niche now at sturdy, heavy-duty boots. Endeavor Ice Shard with rapid spin support's pretty good. Gliscor is also a monster to come back in the NatDex. I didn't play it the best. I probably should have protected more on turn ones, but oddly enough, I think in some matchups it actually came to help me in the end. And finally, the fact Lando Incarnate is back in the NatDex is crazy, because this thing is very strong. We hit number 19 on the ladder, which is pretty good. Again, not that impressive, given the quite quiet nature of the NatDex monotypes, but overall, nice to see another type get that high in the ladder. So if you did enjoy this kind of content, leaving a like, a subscribe, or a comment really helps me out as a small creator. I truly appreciate it. And of course, sharing this with a friend, or sharing any of my content with a friend, really also does help me out. I really do appreciate it. I will hopefully be back next week with either another Shadowrun Live, but I do have other things in the works, as well as some live streams planned. If you want to catch up with me on other platforms, I am actually on Twitch, twitch.tv/King Krabs, as well as I have a secondary channel, King Krabs II, where I do upload certain streams I do, so check that out as well. Also, the Discord is linked in the chat, the description down below. Feel free to come by there if you're interested. And with that, I hope you have a fantastic day, everyone. I'll catch you next time. Take care.